Am I the a-hole for telling my sister her rainbow baby isn't special? I, 27 female, have a set of twins, Ben and Betty. They just turned 6. My sister, 32 female, has Connor, who is 4. My sister and her husband lost their first baby due to SIDS. It was devastating for the whole family. That was behind my sister 100% of the way. I couldn't imagine what it was like. Anyway, when she found out she was pregnant with Connor, we were all excited. The pregnancy went well and Connor got a good bill of health. Everything was fine. I love my sister and I love my nephew, but my sister is convinced that because he's her rainbow baby, that means he can do whatever he wants. Connor is incredibly spoiled and a brat. He throws fits to get his way, hits, kicks, cries, whatever it takes. My sister and her husband give him no discipline. He's their rainbow baby, so that is their excuse for his bad behavior. Their lives are to serve whatever Connor wants. Every year, my family takes a vacation. Me, my husband, kids, sister, and her husband, and our parents. We all decided on Yellowstone. Last minute, my sister tried to get us to change to Disney World, and we refused because we felt our kids were still too young for it. They ended coming to Yellowstone, but complained the whole time that Connor wasn't having fun. That is just a brief example. So now on to the reason for the post. My twins just turned 6, and we had a small party for them. We invited friends from their daycare and some family. Everyone was having a good time but Connor. He wanted cake, didn't like the games, wanted to watch TV, wanted ice cream now, didn't want other kids to touch him, etc. Basically, the whole party Connor threw a tantrum. The final straw came at present time. My husband went to get the gifts out the living room only to find Connor had ripped nearly all of them open. My sister made excuses, saying he just excited and wanted to play with my kids' new toys. I lost it. I told her that Connor isn't special, that he's a brat and has been ruining the party since he got there. My sister immediately went on the his/her rainbow baby. I didn't mean it, and maybe I should have put the presents where he couldn't get them. They were in the living room. The party was outside. No one was inside. I lost my temper. I know I did. But this was my kid's party though. I said some nasty things to her. Told her that Connor isn't a baby anymore. He's not special. And she's raising a self-centered brat who will grow up to be a self-centered adult. She left the party. Later, my parents called. They said they understood my frustrations and everything about the situation, then said they still felt like I should apologize to my sister. Why? Because I have 2 healthy kids. Well, she lost one, and she's still having to deal with it. I told them no. My sister should apologize for how her son acted at the party. My husband and the guests who were at the party are on my side. My sister hasn't really spoken to me in a few days. Just posted passive-aggressive things on social media, which I just blocked her. Am I the a-hole here? Edit. Just to clear up some things in the comments. A lot of people have suggested my sister should have went to therapy, and she did. My sister and I got pregnant around the same time, so we were excited to raise our kids together. However, her child died a few weeks after being born while I had twins. We did attend therapy together because I felt guilt for having 2 kids while her one kid died. I have been nothing but 100% supportive of her. My family and I have tried talking to her and husband in the past about Connor's behavior, because this didn't happen overnight. This has been happening since he could walk. They ignore us and throw their dead baby in our face when we bring up something about Connor. The party just brought everything to a head for me and I lost my temper. I accept that. We have decided that we aren't going to talk to my sister or husband till things cool down some more and she's willing to listen to what we have to say. None of us are downplaying the fact she lost a child. I know Connor is special to her, but the rest of the world isn't going to see it that way. Thanks to those who ask if my kids are okay. They're okay, and the party went on after my sister left. My kids got to open some gifts that Connor didn't get to. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole at all. Is he still going to be the rainbow baby in high school? I'm sure when he commits his first crime, the judge will be very understanding that the rainbow baby needs cuddles and not confinement. Can you imagine him trying to use the excuse, "but I am a rainbow baby," for everything in school? He can't be charged with a DUI. He's a rainbow baby. He can't be expelled for fighting. He's a rainbow baby. He can't get divorced. He's a rainbow baby. He had to get into this college. He's a rainbow baby. Laughing my butt off. What if he fights another rainbow baby? What are the rules there? Not Day-Hall. Connor knows what he's doing. He knows his mom and dad let him get away with anything because he's special. And I would bet every day they tell him that he is special. There is nothing wrong with loving your child, but clearly your sister and husband could use some family therapy to deal with the loss of their first child. They haven't gotten over it. Connor is basically the replacement for their dead baby, and that is going to mess him up in life. You admitted you lost your temper and said some nasty things. In this case, you had every right to do so. Your sister was letting Connor dictate the party. Who opens someone's presents? She likely took him inside, let him open them, and thought you wouldn't say anything. You're not Day-Hall, OP. Connor knows what he's doing. Hate to single this part out because I agree with the rest of the post. But the kid is 4. He will know what he's doing if this parenting continues, but no, he does not know what he's doing. A 4-year-old with no discipline or boundaries or consequences is more or less an untrained puppy. At 4, you still don't even have an understanding that other people exist outside of your world. Look up theory of mind, which you don't really get until around 5. Generally, your post is still valid, but it kind of places too much blame on a 4-year-old who is the, albeit horrible, byproduct of an awful parenting. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling this mom the truth about why her son wasn't invited to a sleepover party? My son just turned 10, and for his birthday wanted to do a superhero slumber party. We did something similar the last 2 years, not for his 9th birthday for obvious reasons, and they all had a blast. The party started around 3. We did pizza, movies, popcorn, and designed superhero masks. My son was friends with a boy named James from his class. Came to the last 2 sleepover parties. And while well behaved, it was his parents who I felt were the problem. When we send out the invites, we tell the parents when the party is and what time to pick the kids up the next day. For the last 2 parties, James was always the last one to be picked up. For his 8th birthday, we specifically stated that all kiddos should be picked up by 11 a.m. We had plans to go out to my in-laws for his birthday party, which was on his actual birthday. We had 5 boys, including our son, at the party, and 3 of them were picked up by 11 a.m. At 11:30, I texted James's mom and asked if she was coming to get him. She said she was on her way. I assumed she ran an errand and was just running behind. No big deal. By 12:30, she hadn't shown up. I texted her again and I reminded her that we had somewhere to be and she needed to get here as soon as possible. She responded that she was eating lunch and would be there soon. By 2 p.m., I texted her again and let her know that she needs to pick up her son ASAP, that we were getting ready to leave in an hour and her son was not invited to come with us. I had assumed that would prompt her to come get him. By 4 p.m., my husband left with our kids to my in-laws, and I called James's mother. I left her a voicemail and told her that if she was not at my house in 30 minutes to pick up her son, I was calling the police to inform them that he was an abandoned child. She showed up within 15 minutes to get him. She made a half-baked apology about how she was busy with errands and running her other children to their activities. Today, I received a text message from her about why James was not invited to the sleepover party. Apparently, one of the other moms was talking about how much fun the kids had at the party, and she wanted to know why her son was not invited. So I told her the truth, that her son was not invited because I was not sure if she could come get him in a timely manner and without disrupting our plans for the rest of the day. I explained that anytime her son is at my house, she's always late to pick him up and I was tired of catering to her schedule. She called me an uppity witch and has since blocked me on social media and her phone. Am I the a-hole for telling her why her son was not invited? Post-edit. Because this has been asked a lot, we do not suspect any kind of mistreatment in the home. I am a nurse, so I would be obligated to report this if I expected that this was happening. James's mom has 4 children. Her other son is in scouts with my son. They are always the last to be dropped off / picked up because of her other kids' activities. Her husband does drop off and pick up the kids, and he is on time. Our parties and scout meetings just happen to fall on days and times when he is not available. We are not the only parents who have discussed this with her. Multiple parents from the group have said that the same issue with her not coming to pick him or her other kids up on time. She's just a chronically late person, and I am not really sure what to do to help out with this. Not Day-Hole. This mom sucks, to put it mildly. And I feel sorry for her kid. She was using you for free daycare and doesn't care enough about her kid. It's weird how she was able to pick up her kid in 15 minutes once the threats got real. Exactly. And she doesn't even care enough about her son's involvement in the next party to just give a decent apology and ask for another chance. She jumps straight to insults and blocking. Not a day haul. You gave her the honest reason based on experience. Instead of saying, "You're right, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to have my child punished for my behavior, so could you please give him/me another chance?" And she responded with profanity and blocked you. That's a good way to ensure the poor kid will never be invited again. And no doubt other parents feel the same way. Not a day haul. It sucks that her kid has to pay the price, but picking up your kid 5 hours after the agreed upon time is BS. She was 100% using you as a babysitter and was enjoying her day minus James. Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she's blaming her daughter too much for her ex's actions?" My sister has a daughter, 15, with her ex-husband. When she was pregnant with him, her ex turned out to be a not very kind person. All the kindness and understanding we had seen before was gone, and by the time my niece was born, she was done. They had reached the point of no return. When my niece was 4, she met her husband. Her ex was pissed, forbade my sister from having her husband around my niece, even took her to court to say he wasn't allowed to interact with his daughter. The court laughed it off, of course, but her ex was very quick to be loud about how my brother-in-law was nothing to my niece, and how he would never be anything to her. My sister brought it to court, but nothing happened, and they went about life as normal, sharing equal custody of my niece and living life. She has 3 more kids with brother-in-law, ages 9, 7, and 4. My niece is very quick to correct anyone who calls them her siblings, and adds in the half or says they're not her real siblings. My sister has corrected her, has punished her, and has told her that half is not a term they use. They're siblings and that's it. My niece does not agree, and in the 9 years of having a younger sibling, she's never said just sibling. She has almost no relationship with her younger siblings. And my sister is pissed. Like, she has told us she is ashamed of niece and is disgusted with her. She has told her she is ashamed and disgusted, and will come back to us even more angry because that doesn't change how my niece feels or acts. She told me and our brother the other day that she's disgusted by her daughter, and she can't stand who she is, and she's thinking of locking her up all summer to get through to her. I told her she's blaming my niece too much when she knows it's coming from her ex. That she should try to understand better that my niece is caught between what she says and what her dad says. And while we all think is an a-hole, she thinks the world of her dad, and she would defend him with her dying breath and is going to be caught up in what she said. I said it doesn't matter her being mean, right? But that anger needs to go toward her ex for this, and not the kid who is stuck in the middle. My brother backed me up and said that at the end of the day, niece didn't ask for any of this, and is still growing and learning. My sister was pissed though. She said, "How dare I say she's being too hard when she can't just think of niece? And how dare I think she's not mad at her ex?" She tore both of us down for it and told us we were unsupportive, judgmental a-holes. And she's still mad with a capital M. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You said it perfectly. All sister is going to succeed in doing is alienating her daughter. At the age of 15, she can decide she wants to live with her dad, and most judges will side with her, especially if she explains that mom is punishing her for calling mom and stepdad's kids her half-siblings, and that she plans to lock her up for the summer until she sees it mom's way. I feel so sorry for the daughter. I've had friends who've been stuck in custody battles, and it's a pain. I hope you're not the a-hole. Honestly, that entire sister's family seems like a crap hole for the daughter. Sister's going to lose her kid if she doesn't immediately turn her mindset around and support her. With kids, the carrot works better than the stick. Who knows, maybe being nicer about it and having her feel comfortable in that home will eventually make the daughter call her half-siblings siblings. If she doesn't, who cares? Positive reinforcement is the way to go here. It repairs the relationship and has a chance to make her do what sister wants. However, never use this positive reinforcement to try and push daughter to do what sister wants. If she doesn't want to, no point in trying to make her change her mind. Not a a-hole. At all. What you said is right. And someday, niece may come to understand she has been under the influence of her dad. But your sister can't force her to acknowledge her siblings. Yep, and what her mom is currently doing / planning to do will make sure she'll have essentially no good parent figures in her life. I am sad for the girl. Now, for the last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my son's parents from my house and refusing to let them see him? My ex from high school got pregnant and had my son. Biologically, he's not mine, but I always considered him my own. I was already at another college, 18 years old at the time, hours away, so she didn't tell me about him until he was almost 7 months old. We got back together and I raised him as my own. Was I stupid for not thinking about a paternity test? Maybe. But I still consider that one of the greatest blessings in disguise despite all the hurt. So fast forward 80 years later, I find out my ex has been cheating on me and broke up with her. She tells me my son's not mine, and it's been this other guy. We had a paternity test that proved it was true, and it crushed me. I was refusing to get back together with her, or let her move back into my apartment, so she kept my son away from me. I didn't have that kind of money to fight it in court, and she started bringing the other guy around to see my son. They got him on the birth certificate, and it was just a whole mess. They got married a year later and moved away. My family convinced me to let it go, and accept that my son has his new family, so stop putting myself through this heartache. Eventually I did, and I always hoped I'd see him again, and thank God I did. More like he looked for me. My son is barely 19, and we've reconnected again. My son at first admitted he's been mad at me, because he thinks my ex and I broke up, then I decided to stay out of his life. He knows who his biological father is. They're still married. But he was told that we decided to go our separate ways. As in, I made that choice. I told him the entire truth, and that's caused him to move out of their place. For the last couple months, he's been staying here because his other family is just pushing him to talk to his parents, and he wants space away from all that. Where I might be the a-hole. They found out he's staying with me and have come to my place. The last time they came, I shut the door on them and told them to get out because he doesn't want to see them. I'll admit I'm angry for what they did to me too, but also for the lies they told him. Her family, plus them, believe in being an a-hole for kicking them out of my home when they are only trying to see their son, and also for not helping to mend things as it's in his best interest. I've been mostly reacting out of emotion and my son's wishes. Especially when I kicked them out, so that's why I'm not sure if I was an a-hole here or not. Not an a-hole. She took your son away from you. Yes, it's your son. You raised him and you loved him. You were a true parent, and I'm glad you were connected. They don't get to come to your house and ask for anything. Your son isn't comfortable being around them, so be it. Their adult child asks for space and time. They are willing to give him neither. Hope he's not a-hole for sure. Well, they didn't do what was best for an almost 9-year-old. Why would they suddenly do what's best for him now? How are you the a-hole for kicking adults out of your house when they were trying to see another adult? You're not withholding a child from his parents. Not the a-hole. I guess because they're trying to make things right with him, and maybe not thinking in his best interest the way I should be. That's why I just wanted to check in with others. He's old enough to know what he wants, and he can reach out to them at any time. Keep them away from him. That's why I left.